Where do I look?
Just let me.
Okay. Hi, my name is Sarahi Cardenas. I am 35 years old. I came to Canada about 8 years ago now.
Anyone else wants to share how their bodies are?
I am a professional ballet dancer, a dance educator, and a dance advocate. That often happens that little girls get put into ballet. When I was put into ballet classes, it was because I had flat feet and my feet were like this. So the doctor recommended my mom that she'll either put me in karate or in ballet. Gender stereotypes. She's a girl, so let's put her in ballet. That's how I started dancing in a small town where we used to live at the time. Then later on, when we moved towns to a bigger city, my mom found a school and it turned out to be a professional ballet school, and we didn't know what we were getting into, but that's how it started. I was very lucky that my friends and family were always very supportive of me when I was younger and I was in elementary school even, and there were like group work things that you do at school, and I wasn't there because I was in ballet school. And with my friends who are still my friends even this many years later, there was always an understanding that it's okay. I get to pay for the materials and you all do the work, and then we just say that we did it together. I wouldn't say that I had any pressure from my family because I am the first dancer of the family, and even after me, I am still the only dancer in the family. Societal pressures and pressures within our industry, for example, the most notable being that if you went to a professional ballet school, the expectation is that once you graduate, you are then to join a ballet company. And even more so, shouldn't be just any company. It has to be a prestigious one, which is just not the reality, period, because there's just not that many job vacancies, first of all. And then if you do get into a company and then maybe it's not like a prestigious or big one, everyone's like, well, great. It's hard to navigate that. Other than that, once you make the decision to stop dancing, it's almost as if you've done the worst thing that you can possibly do for your life. So that's also not great. In my personal case, when I decided to stop dancing full time, it was on my own terms, which is something that I'm very privileged. A lot of dancers don't get that choice. And it's something that I wanted and that I was ready to move into the next phase of my career. I was very lucky that when I got here, I already had a contract to dance with Canada's Ballet Jorgen, and I danced with them for 1 year. Even though Canada's Ballet Jorgen is located in Toronto, they are a touring company, so that means that we are out and away from Toronto for a good 6 months of the year. Once I finished that contract, it was my real introduction into the dance community in Toronto. It took a while. I feel like the dance community is very close to each other, which is not a bad thing. Sometimes as someone who's just trying to like get in there, it was challenging at first. I have a theory. It's because they never knew me as a performer. By the time that I was trying to navigate and start in the dance community, we were also starting to think about the fifth. So people knew me more as the person that runs the fifth, instead of like, oh, this is a dancer and she's had a career, you know? And I think that's something that, understandably so, artists value. They want to know about others' careers, and maybe respect comes from that, or I don't know. This is the whole reason why the fifth exists, to change the perception of dance, or to change its silly little rules or unspoken rules that are just hurtful to people. Inclusion of bodies that have been traditionally excluded, or voices that have been traditionally excluded. The understanding that only a certain people are allowed to dance. Ballet in specific, that's something that I am working hard to dismantle. 5 years ago, we're actually very close to our anniversary. It started because at the time I was still pretty much performing as a freelance dancer in the city. At the time, the friend and I who started it together, we were both still performing, and we couldn't find a ballet class to train at the level that we wanted and at the price that we wanted. And so we created the fifth to provide for the dance community. It started just with the professional dancers to provide them training at below market rates. Because the pandemic happened, we were able to start our adult program in the evenings. It started all online because we were all at home and we were doing ballet in our living rooms. Yeah.
Lengthen your body, feel the energy.
The pandemic was hard for performing artists because A, we were not able to go and perform. B, some of us tried really hard to stay active, to keep up with our training, because that's something that, yeah, as a performer, the show must go on. And so it was very hard for a lot of us to take a step back and be like, okay, I get some time to rest, I guess, or do other things perhaps. I have to say that we are very lucky here in Canada because we did get government support for those of us who were not working. It allowed us to expand our programming for our adult dancers. And it was challenging because my husband is also a dancer and we live in a tiny Toronto apartment, and sometimes he was taking class, he was doing his ballet class on one half of the living room and I was teaching a class on the other half of the living room. So it was challenging in many ways, but I'm very grateful for a lot of things that it brought us.
Preparing on 7, taking your bar on 8. We go front, side.
I take inspiration from my students. I personally enjoy a lot doing one-on-ones and learning from their needs. From each of them needs, I like to apply it to when I'm teaching a group class, mentioning like, oh, I was working with so-and-so and then we discovered this. Something that has helped me make connections is that I look for those connections. Also a very privileged thing to be an extrovert that kind of just like keeps on collecting a bunch of introverts. Because I've been described as that. Going back to community, the more I connect with people here or otherwise, the more that they bring my name up in conversations and who will be good to do this project? So and so, That's why I think community is the key of everything. It has worked for me a lot. Ask for what you want. Knock on doors and be like, hey, do you need a producer? Do you need a dancer? Can I come and work with you? People can already say no to you, but you already knew that. So if you don't ever ask, then how are you gonna know if they may say yes? So that's it, just ask for whatever you want. You can follow me on my personal Instagram at Sarahi Cardenas. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.